Oklahoma State, also a very similar team in the same conference, a program that is actually brought up in this article. They have not finished higher than 5th in the Big 12 in the whole entire 6-year Mike Boynton tenure, but they've been competitive nonetheless. They did miss out on the tournament last year. They were the first team out, I believe. And this year, this offseason, I should say, they made another splash with freshman recruiting. They bring in 5 guys, 2 of which are in the top 50 nationally. So, Matt, I'll let you go first for this one. Do we think this freshman class could be very positive for Oklahoma State right away, or will it take maybe a year or so to really see the results?
I think at Oklahoma State, there's got to be some worry heading into this year, right? You lose Avery Anderson III, a generational player for a program like Oklahoma State, which doesn't get guys like him all that often, where, he's been the guy at Oklahoma State pretty much since Cade Cunningham left. As far as the freshmen, then they come in, and there's some good freshmen on this team, but there's a chance that Oklahoma State is going to have to start 2 of them. Eric Daly Jr., a top 60 rated recruit by 247. Brandon Garrison, a much better rated recruit. He's kind of like fringe, almost top 30. So he's pretty close to a 5-star if you go by that. I projected them as my starters because I think that those are the best 2 players Oklahoma State can offer on the court this season at power forward and center. They have Isaiah Miranda, but he didn't even play at NC State. He redshirted. So does that mean he wasn't talented enough as a freshman? Who knows where his skill set is at in power conference basketball right now? And Mike Marsh, a guy who averaged 10 points a game, but at Jacksonville. How does 10 points per game translate to the Big 12? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a lot. So you look at Eric Daly Jr., you look at Brandon Garrison, 2 freshmen that are going to have to start for this team. They're going to have to learn from this team. They're going to have to learn from Bryce Thompson. He's the key to this Oklahoma State Cowboys team. If Bryce Thompson continues to rely on his 3-point shot, we're not going to see a great Cowboys team. But if he decides to become more active, use his good mid-range game, be more aggressive in driving to the bucket, he could be the star of this team, and it could help the freshmen along. Because usually when you're a high-rated freshman, you need to learn from someone experienced. And Bryce Thompson is that guy. I'll end on this. The future of Oklahoma State basketball is good because I don't see any of these guys as one-and-done players. So in the age of the transfer portal, if they decide to stay with the Cowboys, and obviously you're always going to have players leaving and going, I mean, this could be one of the most dominant front courts in the country next year. But heading into this year, it's going to be a struggle because starting 2 freshmen, if that is the route that Mike Boynton chooses, that's risky.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you just said there. Matt really hit the nail on the head. It's all about the front court. And if you trust these players, if you think they have high upside, if you think they can make immediate impacts in the Big 12, then you probably are higher on Oklahoma State than I am. But especially if you're starting a front court player, that's where I'm struggling a little. They lost a ton of production in that area last time. Caleb Boone, Musa Cisse, and Tyree Smith all transferred out of the program. And I don't think a lot of that was expected given the fact that they don't have a bunch coming back in, right? And if you have a guy like Mike Marsh being your most experienced front court player returning, that's not ideal, especially in the Big 12. But I do think their guards are good. I like the 3-headed monster of Javon Small, John Michael Wright, and Bryce Thompson. I think they're going to give opponents a lot of headaches. But the question is, right, do you think that the front court will be ready by the time they need to be ready?